Добрый день, уважаемые коллеги! У нас сегодня первое в этом учебном году открытое мероприятие. Вы пока выключите у себя звук. В компьютере. Открытое мероприятие, в котором участвуют студенты, курсанты колледжа и факультета инженера морского транспорта Института водного транспорта. И мы очень рады, что такое мероприятие у нас получилось. Проводим мы его в формате круглого стола, а это значит, у нас есть выступающие, и у нас есть активно слушающие и задающие вопросы. Говорить мы с вами сегодня будем об учебно-производственной практике и о том, как она влияет на профессиональные компетенции выпускников, насколько практика полезна, какие есть формальные результаты и неформальные результаты. Формальные – это те профессиональные знания, умения и навыки, которые вы получаете, а неформальные – это умение работать в команде, это умение работать в смешанном экипаже, это лидерские навыки, это английский язык и так далее. Но более подробно об этом нам расскажет Ирина Леонидовна. Это преподаватель колледжа института, председатель цикловой комиссии по английскому языку и руководитель плавательной практики, которая проходила в прошлом году на паруснике Херсонес. У Ирины Леонидовны и команды, состоящей из педагогов и курсантов, очень интересный опыт, и они готовы им поделиться.
Good afternoon, dear colleagues and cadets. Our today's conversation is devoted to the problem of shipboard training and its role in educational process. To begin with, I should remind you that the main principles of the shipboard training were developed long ago by navigation teachers of Russian nautical classes, maritime schools, and so on, and they were developed at the beginning of the 20th century. And I should say that they haven't changed much since then. They demand that the cadets not only perform their duties in ship's operation in navigational service, but also presuppose their self-study, self-education, and self-development. Nowadays, practical studies on board ships are required by state educational standards and international conventions. First of all, I mean STCW, of course, Standards on Training and Certification on Watchkeeping, the Convention of... What's the problem with the...
Вы включили звук обратно на нас?
Нет, не включила. Я думаю, должна была его здесь включить. Нет звука, да?
Еще раз.
Ага.
Не повторяем?
Nowadays, practical studies on board ships are required by state educational standards and international conventions. For example, the main conventions is the Convention on Standards on Training, Certification and Watchkeeping with amendments which was adopted in 1978, as you know. Shipboard training is an essential part of the academic plan. And I think we all understand that with the best theoretical training of a graduate, a specialist without any practical skills is incompetent. No matter how well educational process is organized, it will always remain only a model of real life. It doesn't allow our students to socialize in real productive activity, that is, to learn how to correctly position themselves in the crew, how to obey, to execute orders and give them away. They can learn this only during their practical studies on board ship, and only then and there they can really see all the pros and cons of the chosen profession and draw a conclusion of the correctness of their choice. The organization of shipboard training is a very complicated problem for every maritime institution. Private ship owners, as I know, are not very interested in cooperation in this field. They don't want to have any deals with the underage students, and we have a lot of them in our college. That's the problem. And of course, the next problem is that there are very few traineeships in the country, and only few institutes have a chance to send their cadets for practical studies on such ships. And I should say that our institute is lucky. Last year, we had an opportunity to send 107 cadets to the traineeship Hерсонес. And I worked there as a head of practice with those cadets. And this year we are going to send again more than 100 cadets to the same ship. We had 90 days of shipboard training on the training talk ship. And today some of the cadets who had their practice on Hерсонес and on other ships have come to this classroom, and they are ready to share their impressions of their practical studies, of their shipboard training, and they are ready to answer your questions if you have any. So our first speaker is Evgeny Moroz. Well, please.
So, good afternoon everyone, our guests. My name is Evgeny, I'm the Soviet cadet of the Maritime College. And today I'm going to tell you some words about the history of ship where I had my shipboard training. So, let's begin. So, some words about the history of the Hерсонес. As you can see, she was built in Poland on the Gdańsk shipyard, named after the Lenin in 1989. Originally named Alexander Green, but after the construction, in honor of 1000th anniversary of the baptism of Russia, was renamed Hерсонес. Here you can see the general view of this ship. As you can see, the hull of that ship is golden red. So about the ship, he's famous for his passing. Here you can see the route of this ship. This ship is famous for passing the Cape Horn without using any engines. Because other sail vessels tried to do it, but all they needed to turn on their engines, but Hерсонес did it under the sails. So in 1906, the ship needed to repair in the port of Kerch. Here you can see the repairing of the ship. So now the Hерсонес of nowadays has a blue and golden color. So now about some words about ship's particulars. Here you can see the length overall is 108.6 meters. The height of the ship is 52 meters. And the breadth of the ship is 14 meters. So the other ship's particulars, like maximum speed, 12 knots, number of sails, 26, number of masts, 3, number of engines, 2. But the maximum speed this vessel have ever reached is 20 knots under the sails. So this I want to tell you now about our duties and events during the shipboard training. Here you can see our arrival at this ship. It was our first day, and already on the second day we begin to perform our duties, such as cleaning the deck. Open day. We had an excursions with our guides who showed the ship to our guests, such places like accommodations, navigational bridge, classroom, and so on. Also we had drills such as man overboard, abandoned ship, and fire. We had all hands on deck, and and climbing the masts. We kept watch at the wheel and keep a lookout. Our navigational watch consisted of 3 cadets. Here you can see one cadet, not cadet, but it's supposed to be cadets at the wheel, and 2 cadets kept a lookout and take a bearing. So, in addition, we collided with the storm. Here you can see some nice pictures because it's some scare, but at the same time it's beautiful, I think. And also, during our shipboard training, the most interesting part was nice views of this journey, I think. So that's all about the history and general duties of the ship. So thanks for your attention, and that's all. If you have any questions, you may ask me. Why?
This was the shipyard that was named after Lenin.
Excuse me.
So I see the question about the words after Lenin. This was the name of the shipyard in Gdansk in Poland. And in the time of the Soviet Union, Poland was our friend, and one of the shipyards was named after Vladimir Ilyich Lenin. And at that shipyard, this same ship was built.
So, anything else? So I don't see any questions.
No, if there are not any questions, we can proceed further. And the next speaker is Vishenko.
Okay. How can I exit?
Just a moment. So, Regina Vladislavna asks Evgeny, will you have your shipboard training once more?
Yes, sure, I will. But to be honest, I will have my shipboard training on the other ship because I don't think I can get on the Hersones. But it's a pity. But it was very interesting for me, I think. Thanks for the question.
Thanks. So our next speaker is Lishenko Andrew.
Hello everybody, and so now I'm gonna tell you about my first shipboard training on board the tall ship Hersones, where I spent 3 months on. It was my first shipboard training and the last by now, but I'm gonna have my second shipboard training and experience on board a ship, but not tall ship. It will be a merchant vessel. I will tell you about their routine, their life. Firstly, I want to give you some information regarding the ship. The ship was built in 1989 in a Polish shipyard in Gdansk. During the time on board, we could observe what people felt about the ship. It was like an icon for every citizen of Sevastopol, as they supposed her to be one of the best signs of their city. The ship has such a great history and honor. And I was lucky to sail on the sails of Hersones, really, because I will not be able to get the same kind of experience anywhere else, but only on board a tall ship. As now it's really large problem, as my teacher mentioned before. As the ship is so big, it's gonna take a lot of time to walk the vessel around, and there are so many places on board where I could find lots of interesting information about not only sailing but also about the merchant fleet. There are also some literature written in German, as the vessel had been frightened by the German tourist company for a certain period of time. And yeah, the vessel had been frightened by some tourists and shipping companies before she eventually was back to Sevastopol. And I think that's why people felt this way about the ship. The most important part of my shipboard training was the deck work, chipping, rusting, and sometimes even a paint work, and it comes down to intention, as it's very dangerous process if you are not follow the certain procedures. And sometimes we even could work with power tools, hydraulic, electrical tools, but in most situations, ordinary seamen and able seamen did this on board. Also, I had time to keep my English in a good condition and sometimes even to improve my English skills. I had an ability to speak with my teacher and with tourists which came on board. And once my teacher proposed me to take part in research work. I really didn't think a lot about the name of this work, because the name of this work came into my mind by itself, as personal safety on board is one of the most important part of a good seamanship, because there is no seamanship without the safety procedures which must be carried out on board. Also, disputes all the things I mentioned before. We had an opportunity to speak with different native speakers. So, for example, Peter Dyson, the man from England, he came on board with his friends. They arranged some musical assistance for the evening, which was called such a yacht show, and it hosts in a year base. So every year such a yacht show is arranged, and this year, for example, they also invent the guests who want to come on board. And so, and with hand this work, my work which I did to our college, and after in November I made a speech in an international conference, and after I saw on the internet that my work was published, and I also was given a certificate. And I think that it's a great opportunity for every cadet to have his experience on board a tall ship, as it's better to come on board with the knowledge of not only sailing, but also with the knowledge of the work which must be carried out on board. And Hersones is a really good place to try something in a real life, to feel what it is. For example, painting, and also, of course, the navigation. We had a great ability to plot the road on charts. As I mentioned before, to speak with the native speakers, and it's really cool. So I think every cadet must have shipboard training on board a tall ship first, and only after that go to sea on a merchant vessel with some knowledge of the sailing. And this is the certificate, how you can see, which I was given for taking part in the research work. Thank you. Any question? A good pronunciation. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Are you going to improve your English speaking skills? If yes, where and how? So yes, of course, I'm going to improve my English skills, and I think that as my second shipboard training will be on board the merchant fleet, and I think that I will enter foraging country sport, and there I think I will have an ability, and of course I will do it myself. To speak English? No, it wasn't difficult at all. Why should it be difficult for me to speak English?
A silly question.
Good answer. Okay. What are skills cadets need to perform their duties effectively? I think that firstly they shall be prepared at college. Must be good prepared for the work, but it always done only on the ship. So they must have some information just from the college, and only after on board they just can perform their duties, and maybe the man which is rank about the cadet can somehow help him to do his work properly. And what about the cabin? Which one did you have on board ship? It was, yeah, satisfactory, I would say. It was good. I would say so. There was no problem with the outside on board. Very hard to search the weather for practice, and these days it's not hard really, but I know that some cadets have some problems with this, because you have to be prepared, as I said before. You have to be prepared in English. Of course, the English is the most important part. Yeah, ship constructions too. It's important, not less than English. So during the interview, cadets will be asked these questions about the ship construction, about the procedures, about safe procedures must be carried out on board, about the documents, international documents. So if there is no questions, next cadet will give a speech.
One more.
Will you have in the future? So now I will give it a time to have my second shipboard training, and it will be the last. It will be the last for my studying at the Maritime College. But after, of course, I think I don't know how much I will have. So thank you. Here's the next one.
So, the next speaker is Maslov Ruslan. Oh no, I'm sorry, Kolomoy Dmitry.
Hello, my name is Dmitry. I'm a first year cadet. I studied in the navigation department of Krugsy College, Rostov-on-Don. I will graduate from the college this year. My present position is in modern research. Let's go. Shipboard training is an important element in the life of future seamen. Every cadet of the Maritime College must have passed the practice on board of ship. It's a necessary part of our study as future seamen. In general, the duration of our practice is 12 months. 4 months in the second course and 8 months in the third course. Shipboard training is a very important element in our life. and everybody cadet must to pass this. What documents must I have? All cadets must have necessary documents. They are Russian passport, international passport, CFA identity document, medical book, and Siemens book, some certificates, and so on. Where and how did I search my practice? First of all cadets must look for the practice on board ship. I searched my practice for me on different places. I found 2 offices, and I filled out different application forms in the different company. And once I got a phone call from the manager of the company. She explained to me all particulars, name of the ship, her present position, how and where I must come to office to sign the contract. In some days I went to office and I discussed with the manager of the company my next actions. In some days I to sign the contract and to pass the safety training and the interview. In some days I was on board of motor tanker Lankaran. My duties and my life on board. I lived in the double berth cabin with a sailor who became my best friend. My position was a deck cadet. The duration of my contract was 5 months and 4 days. I had breakfast at half past 7 o'clock. I got up at 10 minutes to 7 o'clock and cleaned the officer's mess room. I performed different work on the ship, swept and scrubbed the deck, did paint work, used with different tools, and so on. We had cleaned the tanks, if necessary, from remains of the edible oil or petrol. By the way, I assisted with the mooring operations and cargo operations. I attended the navigation bridge, checked the documents. I helped 2 officers with documentations, and so I repaired the hatch hours, etc. My voyages during my ship training. Our ship Lankaran visited 4 countries, Lebanon, Greece, Turkey and Georgia. I did not go ashore in the foreign ports because our loading and unloading was very fast, about 8 or 9 hours. By the way, we carried such cargo as edible oil, petrol oil, and fuel oil. My first port of call was Izmir. We stayed in the road for 4 days. And after that we discharged our cargo and proceeded to Lebanon, where we unloaded remains of the edible oil, and we went to Greece, where we got new cargo, this petrol, and after that we go to Georgia, and we discharge all cargo. At the end of my contract, we went to large tanker in Sanase. And my conclusion. In conclusion, I would like to say shipboard training is very important in our life as seamen. I had a lot of opportunities to apply and to work new skills. I'm sure that I have made the right choice. Thank you for attention. How to become I quickly accustomed to very quickly also it was not hard. More questions? Yes, I got Seagoing experience. My total Seagoing experience is 6 months and 4 days. In free time, I read the books, different documents. Attended. I attended the navigation bridge very often. Our ship has 15 crew members. We had drills, fire drills, general drills, and board drills. I think is the most interesting is to discuss different problems with different peoples, foreign peoples, and to get experience something. All questions. Thank you for patience. Good luck.
And now our next speaker is Maslov Ruslan. The next and the last one.
Hello, my friends, or not my friends. Hello, everybody. I just want to talk about my shipboard training. Okay, let's start. When I wrote this, I thought about. I just want to tell you something more original that all of us say. And I didn't want to talk about my ship's particulars, my ship's duties, or my ship's rank. I just want to talk about maybe how I spend my free time, or some stories from my vessel, and something else. Okay. Continue. First impression. My first thought after my first step was big ship, big problems, of course. I thought I saw those faces of people who live in the vessel, and I saw smiles and tears of joy because they are free and they were leaving the vessel. and they drop feathers and something like this. And their eyes say to me, "Hold on, brother, hold on." And I understand everything what is waiting for me. The next is cured. Yes, T-Power was cured, and I tell you why. We've got a lot of accidents on my vessel, but the very popular accident was man overboard. I'm sorry. Sea power killing us slowly and gradually, very slowly. At first time, yes. At first time, she punished us a bit, but after one accident, she eventually left. Yes, it accident was man overboard when we were leaving Jordan, Aqaba, and we at night. Yes, man survived, but after this accident, something went wrong. Yes, very wrong. Sailor which fell overboard got in his eyes some piece of metal rust and go home in Novorossiysk. I twist my leg. My cabin was flooded. What's next? When engine switch on heading, dust of coal poured out from the ventilation, and I've got a lot of situation like this, but I've got short time and I will continue. It's my vessel. Yes, my free time. Before the voyage, I bought some a good supply of tea, and praise of heavens, it was my best idea. In Aqaba, how you see on the picture, we went to diving school, and praise of Poseidon in this situation, he always saved me from sea henchmen. What's the next? I think it's. I think I must tell you about my conclusion. Yes, it's sunset, my ship, and in conclusion, I think I must say to you, for everybody, you must love sea, because we've got a lot of beautiful pictures, beautiful sunset and sunrise. You must love their situation when you go to some port and go to city. You have got free times after a very difficult situation, after difficult works. You must love all of the actions on the vessel, and I think it's very important to your future work. I think that's all. What? How much free time did you have? I got a lot of free time. When we went to a port in Aqaba, we stayed about 2 weeks or maybe 12 days, and in Egypt twice we stayed about 10 and 12 days. No, my shipboard training doesn't help me to level my English knowledge. No.
No self-education.
I don't want to lie.
Oh, well, look at this. No self-education during his shipboard training.
I've got 25 members on my board, and one cadet from Turkey. He know only English. He knew. I'm sorry.
So you had a chance to improve your English while speaking to that cadet. Yes. Mm-hmm.
I don't have seasickness. It's very difficult. But did you keep watch there? Sometimes. I don't want to do it.
He's telling the truth and only the truth. So, any other questions? Do you think about military vessels? Do you want to work?
After my graduate, I go to military vessel, to army, of course. That's all?
I think it is. What would the attitude be?
Attitude. The attitude to me was very, sometimes positive, sometimes angry when I was some situation where I was some kind of stupid maybe.
Thanks.
Thank you.
So, and at the end of our small conference, that I don't know how to say, we would like to show you a video which was made by the cadets during the shipboard training. Well, click the link in the chat, please, and you will watch the video. Мне тоже нужно?
Вам нужно, я попробую запустить в классе, но не уверена, что получится.
Так, если они сейчас уйдут. А как их понять? Они смотрят или Thank you very much. You were very useful.
Не, ролик не останавливается.
А как? У меня
В чате видите сообщение.
А он у меня только запускается, когда я перехожу по ссылке. А так не запускается. То есть я могу только либо ролик смотреть, либо на вопросы отвечать. Да, я думаю, да. Ну, по ссылке, да.
Ну, вот скажите, куда не пришли.
Я даже вопрос не понял. У меня вообще все повисло.
Нет, мы вас видим.
А я себя вижу зависшую.
Нет, мы вас видим нормально.
So I can't understand the question. What do you mean, Murashov Nikita? Can all situations project the simulators? What do you mean by saying that? You may write this in Russian if you want. Картинка висит моя.
Картинку еще только что поставили. Вы как-нибудь видео имеете?
Нет, я сама себя вижу застывшей позой. Алло. Такое впечатление, что... Does anybody hear me? Кроме вас никто не слышит. Так, а что мы дальше? Мы дальше делаем.
Вопросы, поправки.
Have you watched the video? What are your impressions about it if you have done it?
Нормально все, не волнуйтесь. Вас видно и слышно прекрасно.
Sure. That's okay. No reply.
Коллеги, у вас есть уникальная возможность задать вопросы Ирине Леонидовне, как активному организатору и участнику событий. Она была вместе с курсантами на паруснике Херсонес и может поделиться своими личными впечатлениями в том числе. Пожалуйста, у нас есть еще несколько минут до завершения нашего мероприятия. И вы можете спросить. Ролик, ссылочку на ролик я еще раз опубликую в чате. Кто не успел посмотреть, пожалуйста, посмотрите. Можно оценить лайками на YouTube. Это наш канал института. Можно написать комментарии. Положительные, желательно, позитивные комментарии. И мы будем очень благодарны вашим впечатлениям о сегодняшнем мероприятии в чате сейчас. Я прошу всех участников круглого стола поделиться своими впечатлениями с той стороны экрана. Как вам, насколько вам было интересно, полезно послушать от реальных курсантов, их реальные впечатления. И о чем, если мы предложим сделать такие мероприятия регулярными, о чем бы вы хотели послушать или поговорить в следующий раз? Так, Тимур написал вопрос.
А у меня ничего нет.
Пересядьте.
Я думаю, что-то висит. Ни вопросов, ни ответов. How difficult is it to get a shipboard training? Well, I think that Andrew Lishinka has already answered the question about the difficulties which you will face while looking for your shipboard training. You must learn English first of all, and it will help you. Well, to listen about shipboard training, Viktor Alexandrovich wants to listen about shipboard training. What do you want to listen? We have all told you everything you wanted. If you want to know everything else, please ask questions, more detailed questions. Is it hard to be in the sea for so long time? Yes, it was hard a bit, but we stayed in the ports for long periods of time, and we had opportunities to visit museums, some interesting places, to go to the beach, and so on and so forth. Well, thank you very much. If it is difficult for first-year cadets to ask questions in English, you may write in Russian. I will answer in Russian as well. Viktor Alexandrovich insists that he wants to listen about the search of shipboard training. You should go to the shipping companies and fulfill some sheets of paper that you would be given. It's really amazing and informative. Thank you. And even educational. Well, let it be so. Any other questions? And what other topics are you ready to discuss in such a form as today? Cherkasov Denis, where can we find these shipping companies? First of all, in the internet, and then ask elder cadets your friends from the second course, from the third course, they will give you good advice where to go and what to say. And of course your teachers also can help you. Да. Да, я уже спросила по-английски, еще раз по-русски повторяю вопрос. О чем бы вы хотели поговорить в следующий раз в таком формате? Возможно, не на английском языке, возможно, какие-то другие проблемы в таком формате обсудить. Да. Вот у нас есть предложение о подготовке к собеседованию поговорить, на какие моменты обратить внимание. Тем более, вот смотрю, вопросы ребят как раз, видимо, для них это насущная проблема. Как найти практику, соответственно, как и пройти собеседование. Good idea. So we'll think about it. Maybe next year in September or October, because now it's a bit late. Хорошо, вот мы с Натальей Андреевной тут переговариваемся, мы подумаем, и в соцсети ВКонтакте будет объявление о наших дальнейших событиях в таком формате. О документах. Павел Виктор Александрович wants to listen about sailor's documents. Are you the first year cadet, Victor Alexandrovich? I think you are. So during your English lessons on the second course, you will have to discuss a topic of the shipboard training and preparation for the shipboard training, and you will be given the list of documents just at the English lesson, and you will have to learn the names of these documents so that to pass your credit in English first of all, and then to pass the interview in the shipping company. They speak English powerfully. Well, they try to do their best, yes. They are good cadets. Second year cadet. Well, maybe you are the cadet of not the navigation department. The cadets of navigation department have the topic of shipboard training in their course of study, and we learn the names of the documents. Thank you ever so much. Я думаю, наверное, народ прощается. Да. If you haven't any questions, so thank you for attention. It was very interesting for both sides, not only for you, but for us too. Goodbye. See you next time. Goodbye.